Hello YouTube, it's me again, your friendly neighborhood Green Party rep for Humber St. Barbara. It's my typical opening, so why not continue it? Okay, continuing along with my ecovillage thread, this is my third video tonight, and I thought, what the hell, I've got 6 more after this one that I'm going to create all this evening, this morning, it's 3 a.m. And I'll post them over the course of the next couple of days, I suspect. I'd rather have them and not post them back to back to back than not have them made up and mean to, and then things come up and whatever. Anyway, blacksmithy. The Tir Tairngire ecovillage will require a blacksmith, someone to make hinges and hammers and hoes, oh my. But we don't have a coal mine on the grounds, which is inconvenient. So close that off. So I wouldn't want to use coal anyway, or natural gas, because it's inconvenient to the environment. The whole idea is to drop a carbon footprint down, and if you don't know what that means, please check it out. It's worth wikiing, definitely. So the blacksmith will instead use an induction forge. You've got to YouTube that. Some of the videos are incredible. Basically, the idea of induction is you get a big box that generates incredibly high current, and you get a copper copper wire. I'm talking like 000 gauge, heavy, pencil-sized copper wire. And the copper wire comes out of 2 prods, 2 ends, and then coils all the way around, and then it works back. And if everyone has ever made an induction magnet, an electromagnet for a science fair or whatever, if you put a iron coil and push, and just get your minds out of the gutter, and put a nail back and forth inside the coil, you'll actually make a light bulb glow. It's called induction. Really cool stuff. But instead of putting the nail back and forth in the coil to create energy in the light bulb, if you put energy in the coil and put a stationary nail, the nail will melt. The potential is amazing. What you do is you would have your coil of wire and your nail. Put the nail inside the coil, and the nail gets almost instantly hot. Again, YouTube it, it's incredible. Induction range. Induction forge. Induction forge. Put the nail inside, the nail glows red. Pull the nail out, you put it on your anvil, you pound it to whatever shape you want. When it cools off, you put it back in the coil. The coil can be any shape you want. I've seen flat coils, like the coil on a electric range, a burner on a stove, that if you lay a piece of plate steel on top, it'll glow red. You don't need to put it in the coil, you have to put it on the coil. Because what you get are flux lines that actually induce current in the iron. Anything that has iron in it. Aluminum won't work. And what basically happens is you put so much energy, amperage, into the iron that the electrons vibrate so fast they generate heat. The coil itself does not heat up, other than convection. It's absolutely out of this world. You can plug one of these things into a clothing dryer plug, one of the 4-prong things for North Americans, and it'll generate less energy. It'll drain less energy than a microwave, and can melt iron. It blows my mind. But that's our solution. That's how we can take scrap iron, which you can buy for pennies, and then refabricate it into whatever we need. Based upon the size of the chunk, we can make whatever we want. It'll take a skilled blacksmith, but education does not an artisan make. Practice does. If I give you the forge, if I give you a wind turbine on a battery bank, and I give you a cord of steel, and say, I want some shovels, figure it out, eventually you'll have the product that we need. And you'll have done trial and error with enough, education behind you to know what exactly to trial. You will learn more and have a better background. But it doesn't stop with shovels and hoes. You can make hammers, you can make nails, you can make knives, even swords, I guess, functionally. So think about what you use in everyday society. Cutlery could be made with this kind of stuff. You'd probably end up having to grind down forks, that might be a challenge. But table knives, spoons, all these things could be made with heated iron on an anvil, or similar type apparatus. We probably could get a press. I don't know if we've got the iron hot enough to actually be liquid. It'll probably be some state of hot metal or plastic. I don't know if there would ever be an actual flowing fluid, which would kind of be required for a press. We shall see. Theoretically, let's say no, for argument's sake. No press. We can hammer out individual spoons. It'll take time, but time we have. More time equals more practice. No problem. The artisan can teach one of our homeless members, and one of the homeless members in this given scenario could make a dozen spoons. Each spoon would improve. The best of the best we sell, all of the failures we recycle, and everything that's passable we can use among our community, because we can then appreciate how far we've come. Tradition is a lost art these days. But think of razor blades. I could just shave myself right now, come to think of it, but we don't need a Gillette razor. Straight razors worked well for hundreds of years, but they're fickle little things. They're difficult to use sometimes. But you could fabricate your own. No reason why we couldn't painstakingly create a straight razor. Just a really, really, really thin knife with a really, really sharp edge to do a shaving with. You'd have a barber on the grounds, someone who happens to know how to do it, and when you need one, you can give them a call. But the idea would be that if you needed a shave every day, every couple of days, this is a farm, not a beauty pageant, we would be able to have the resources on hand to do it properly and not require imports. No imports means no garbage means lower carbon footprint, which is what we are all about. So all in all, the induction forge, again, please check it out, really cool videos, will be the cornerstone of our tool replication process. Yes, the potter will have some to do with it. Yes, the carpenter will also have some to do with it as well. I'll add carpenter to the list. And the carpenter will require drill bits. The carpenter will require some tools that I don't want to have to buy if we can avoid it. There will always be some imports. That's unavoidable. In the early stages, we will require to purchase tools, we will require to purchase the induction range, we will require to purchase food until we grow our own. But that can't be a permanent thing. So, our blacksmith will teach others, for example, the homeless, and allow us to create a solid tradition of rigid blacksmithy that can create a heritage, that can create a product, that can create a label, a brand name, that can put our products, our community, and our ideals on the map. So, I hope that will give you something to think about, which I hope I always give you something to think about. And it was a pleasure chatting with you again today. And up next, pottery.